now available in paperback and e-readers, The Temptation of John Haynes. Give in to temptation and pick up this action-packed African-American paranormal romance. Get The Temptation of John Haynes in paperback and e-readers today. I was on Facebook the other day when somebody posted a meme saying that Zoran Mamdami was not the issue as related to the 2025 mayor's race. And I have to agree with this meme that says the problem was not Mamdami. No, the problem was all of these brainwashed, naive college graduate idiots who voted for him. Now, one of the big problems here in America with our voting bloc is that many in our voting bloc really don't understand the subtle politics transpiring around them because many of them are miseducated by our colleges and universities. And because they're miseducated by our colleges and universities, what happens is these inexperienced individuals who have not ever really gone out and experienced life, they're sitting there buying into the rhetoric of a young, inexperienced man like a Zoran Mamdami because it's what they want to hear. And sadly, these people haven't actually gone out into the world and experienced the real world. And that's a big problem here in America with our voting blocs. A lot of our voting blocs are basically caught up in ideals on both the left and the right side, because the same group, there's also another group of brainwashed college idiots who come on the red side just like they do on the blue side, and neither side has an understanding of how life works, because many of the parents of the baby boomer generation really didn't do their job. Now, in previous videos, I talked about the failure of the baby boomer generation to basically prepare the next generation, which was millennials and Gen Z, for their jobs in the future of taking over as related to running this country. And this is one of the reasons why we get people looking to elect politicians like the Orange Man or a Zoran Mamdami, because both of these candidates basically are two sides of the same coin, individuals who really don't know anything about how anything works. And the reason why we're getting these type of candidates who are able to even run for office is mainly because America is reaping what it sowed, greater than what it sowed, later than what it sowed, as related to the wealthy looking to break up the family, looking to break up the family and the God-centered traditions of heirs and people who are supposed to be successors. And this is one of the reasons why the country is in chaos right now, because we didn't go out here and maintain the culture and traditions by going out here and ensuring that we had quality successors in place during the time of the baby boomers. No, we didn't think to do that because the wealthy, what they wanted to do was go out here and look to try to reshape society, to try to make their ideals come to life. They wanted to remove the father from the home because they thought he was too influential in looking to control his family and the values of his family, and they sought to replace him with television. And as they sought to replace him with television, they also indoctrinated the women into the workforce through their campaign with feminism. And as they invested in these women, what they did was go out here and send the woman to college to become this consumer, this naive, brainwashed college graduate idiot who goes out here and again doesn't understand the subtle politics transpiring around them or even understand how things work, because she's not trained to be a successor. No, she's not trained to be able to get any sort of success. No, she's not taught the values or culture of the country, and as a result, what's happened is you get these large groups of these brainwashed college graduates who again go out here and buy into the ideology of I would say even before a Zoran Mamdani, a Bill Clinton, a Barack Obama. Again, guys who have good looks and can go out here and present a slogan to a woman that stimulates her feelings, and makes her feel a certain way. And instead of that woman, or even some of these beta males, voting on policy or understanding common sense as related to policy, what happens with these individuals is that they vote on feelings, and as they vote on their feelings, they don't vote for the optimal candidate. But America really didn't create optimal candidates because we walked away from the tradition and culture of understanding that people have to be successors or heirs to pass on a standard of life for people and a culture for people. But they thought, oh, the colleges and universities would do this. But no, colleges and universities, they are not stewards over culture. No, they're academic institutions. And again, when you stack your academic institutions with imbeciles and idiots, kooks and weirdos, what happens is your academic institutions are not institutions of higher learning. No, they become indoctrination centers of ignorance. And as they become indoctrination centers of ignorance, this is where you get people who think that they're educated, but they're just not smart. And what happens with these people who think that they're educated and not smart is they buy into the ideologies from people who are supposed to be professors. They buy into these ideologies without ever understanding how any of this applies in real life. This is where we get the large masses of what people call woke folks who really don't understand how the world works because they've never really had much life experience. And again, this is what's, again, infecting the culture, again, as related to business and many people. Again, they want to think, oh, you can have these people in power, but they don't understand how the world works because they never really had to experience a hard life. They never went through any sort of struggle. They never went through any sort of hardship. All they know is what the professors told them in college. No, they never went out into the world, and they never got that rude awakening many college graduates get, like I did back in the 90s when I got out of school and found out that most of the stuff I learned in college was nothing but crap. And when you get out into the real world is a different place. No, a lot of these people are still stuck in the fantasy lands that they're in, and that's why they can buy into the rhetoric of a Zoran Mamdami or an Orange Man who promise big things but don't know how to deliver those things because they never really worked anywhere. They don't know how the world works. And again, these people, they don't know how reality works because, again, you never went out into the real world. No, you've been in academic institutions where they told you how things work, but I can tell you from life experience, again, the world works completely different. And as the world works completely different, when you get out into the world, you learn quickly, hey, this guy talking about free buses, this don't make no logical sense if your MTA is basically every year crying poor mouth, saying that even after getting congestion pricing and a fare hike, they're still going to have projected debt because the MTA is a money pit. How can you get free buses? This same guy talks about universal child care, which will cost $6 billion every year. And again, these college-educated folks, they have no critical thinking. Yeah, they got a degree, but they have not learned like many other people who grew up and understood things like legacy, things like succession, things like family. They learned from life experience, from going out into the real world. They learned that, okay, things cost money, things have a value, and again, traditions are kept in place because we understood, okay, we can't do certain things in life. We understand we can't do certain things, but when your society is led by dysfunctional men and women who go out here and go to these colleges and universities, again, get indoctrinated, not educated, because and when you get an education, you learn how to think, you learn how to think critically, you learn how to understand how things work. Again, you're not caught up in ideals like these people today here in New York, because one of the things I look at Mamdami supporters, they're no different than a Trump supporter in that everything with them is emotion. Whenever you present them with some sort of logic that basically, again, makes them think, they start to get in their feelings. Oh, this is possible. No, it's not possible at all. And any veteran New Yorker would have told you the same. Same thing with the orange man who is sitting here, again, saying he's going to make America great again when he's a part of the same people who basically sold the country out to China and countries overseas. You're sitting there thinking, hey, this guy can make America great again, when Americans themselves don't know how to be great. And that's shown by the horrible comic books that are made by the comic book industry. It's shown by the inability of Hollywood to make movies, because these people, again, basically were raised by the baby boomers, a generation in and of themselves that did not understand succession, did not understand tradition, did not understand family, because what these people wanted to do as they basically had their sexual revolution, as they had their free love, as they had their lives, they basically, again, didn't understand about the more important things as related to God's order, as related to heirs, as related to succession, as related to tradition. And these are the people who basically took over the colleges and universities and again indoctrinated the next generations into dysfunctional culture that basically has these dummies basically thinking that because they have degrees, they are these educated people who know so much but don't know anything at all. And again, since they don't know anything at all, these people, again, are running around thinking they know so much, but they know nothing at all. And this is why they can fall for the rhetoric of a Zoran Mamdami, an Orange Man, a Kamala Harris. Again, fall for this rhetoric because these individuals don't know how anything works. No, they've never been out in the real world. They've never experienced real life. They've never gone through any sort of real struggle. No, they've gone out here and again gotten their so-called educations through student loans. They've gone out here and read what some professor told them to get grades in school. But it's not until you go out into the real world and experience the real world that you understand how things work. And again, this is where this country is going to be for the next 4 years, with this rebellious and stiff-necked generation that is basically being misled by these college graduates, which are mostly white females. Again, these white females want to go out here and think that they're girl bosses in some cases, want to think that they're being, again, these big bosses, but they just basically are the blind leading the blind, and all of them falling into a ditch, following behind ideologists like Zoran Mamdami or the Orange Man, again, having no understanding of how the world works, understanding of how life works. And again, I looked at that meme, again, said this, all these brainwashed, naive college graduate idiots who voted for him, and they are part of the problem. Again, America did not go out here looking to create thinkers, because the wealthy don't want anyone to think. No, they want to think that they know better, but it's clear that they don't know any better. No, many of the wealthy don't know how the world works themselves, because they themselves have been isolated in a bubble, and again, don't know how anything works. And these people think that they're better than God, bigger than God, who basically gave you the instructions on how to live in his Bible, his word that he gave us. I mean, God already showed you already how things are supposed to work with patriarchal successors and patriarchal heirs who are supposed to take over to maintain your culture and traditions. But these people who are part of these colleges, they want to smash the patriarchy, not understanding that when you go against God, you're going to fail. And when you go against God, you're basically on a trajectory where your country is going to fall, because no country can stand against God or go against God's word. And that's what's basically happening here, as these groups of leftist white females basically are being led to, again, vote for their own destruction, whether it be the Orange Man or whether it be Zoran Mamdami here in New York. I mean, all they do is buy into ideals that they learned from these kooks, weirdos, and strangers who basically have taken over academia and showed us that academia is ignorance, proving God's word about how he can basically confound the wise and basically make their ideologies completely foolish. I mean, when I look at, again, the 2025 New York election, it again shows me how lost people are, especially a lot of our so-called college-educated and many out here. I even look at the black population of black men. I mean, just considering how dumb they were. Again, you're voting for a candidate who said he wasn't going to do anything specifically for black people, but you wanted to buy into the idea of free stuff, and the only thing you're going to get is jack shit. That's what you're going to get from this guy, and a hard lesson in life about not buying into people who present ideals, and get a hard lesson in how things work in the real world. Now, if you want to see me go out here and take the whole ideology of America to the barbecue, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the link in the description box. And if you want to see me make more videos taking the ideology of modern America to the barbecue, you can drop a donation. You can pick up, whatever. Just pick up some of my books on Amazon.com and help me out. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, Amari's Revenge. The goddess next door is confronted by a Nubian queen out for revenge at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in this inaugural Isis series adventure. Get your copy of Isis, Amari's Revenge in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, A Thorn in My Side. The man who rules the world takes on an agent from the CIA from the Black Boule in this all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes' A Thorn in My Side in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Coming to paperback and e-readers, Esteemed Season of the Witch Girl. The aspiring angel takes on a wicked teenage witch in this action-packed all-new Esteemed series adventure. Pre-order your copy of Esteemed Season of the Witch Girl at Amazon.com and other online booksellers. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.